What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BlackTideTV. Apologies for the later than usual upload. I really had to rip myself away from this game in order to make this video, as I'm having so much fun playing the most recent Weekend Warfare playlist here in Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, and that's what we'll be talking about today. So this game mode is called Slasher. It's very reminiscent of the private match game mode that we used to play with all of our friends, known as Michael Myers. Of course, they couldn't call it Michael Myers, as that is a copyright protected property, so it's called Slasher in public matches in Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, and it is a ton of fun, let me tell you. So this is the Weekend Warfare playlist this weekend, meaning that it will be gone tomorrow morning. It is currently Sunday night. By the time this video is posting, you'll probably only have a few hours left with this game mode, but I highly suggest that you head over there and check it out. Definitely take whatever time you have and put it into this game right now. This is so much fun. Easily the most amount of fun I've had playing a Call of Duty game in a few years now. I don't think since the Maniac suit in Call of Duty Ghosts have I ever done something so wacky yet so rewarding in a Call of Duty game. It's just really fun to play this game mode. We actually live streamed for about 5.5 hours the other day, a Friday night. 4 hours of that 5.5 hours here on Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered was spent playing the Slasher game mode. The first little bit, we couldn't figure out how to get into Slasher because it's a free-for-all only game mode and you can't actually join with parties, which is something that I will be discussing later on in this video. But once we got in here, we were playing for about 4 hours, just non-stop playing this game mode. It's super fun. Grab a bunch of friends and get in here while you can. I really want them to make this into a permanent stay in Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. I said the same thing for Snipers Only, and it didn't end up being a permanent stay, but this game mode, believe it or not, is actually even more popular than Snipers Only. In my Snipers Only video, which I will link in the description down below, I talked about how it was the most popular game mode in Weekend Warfare to date. To that date, anyways, it was 13% of the population in-game was playing that game mode, which was a considerable amount. It was like the third or second most popular game mode that weekend. This game mode, Slasher, has that beat. And you don't even need to take my word for it. It's right there in the numbers on the playlist when you turn this game on. Slasher currently has 19% of player population on PlayStation 4 playing it. That's 4 percentile under Team Deathmatch at 23%. Team Deathmatch has 23% of the population playing it. This game mode has 19%. That's ridiculous. Team Deathmatch has always been the most popular by far. The second game mode is usually about half the amount of Team Deathmatch. 4 percentile is all this is behind Team Deathmatch on. Clearly, people are really enjoying this game mode. People are having a really great time with it, myself included. Like I said, I could barely rip myself away from this gameplay right now to get you a gameplay and make a video on this, because I want to spend as much time as I possibly can this weekend trying to grind out as much Slasher as I can, because I've never had so much fun in a Call of Duty game. Like, this is revitalizing my hope in the series, honestly. I'm having such a great time. This game mode should be put into its own playlist. There should be a party playlist in Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, if we're being real here. It's a remastered game. It shouldn't be a super serious game. We should have a party playlist. We should have a bunch of crazy stuff going on, like gun game and slasher and sharpshooter and all that other stuff. But anyways, this game mode is really fun and I cannot get over that, but there are a few little different changes from Michael Myers to Slasher. So this is of course based on Michael Myers, which is something that's amazing in its own right, that Raven Software was smart enough to look back on their audience and see what we were playing on our own, what game modes we ourselves invented. And they're like, hey, these guys have been playing Michael Myers, like running around knifing each other. Like, one guy's a knifing guy and he runs around and knifes everyone else while they try and hide. Like, that's a pretty cool game mode. Maybe we should make that into a public match party kind of game mode. And so they did. Like, that's crazy to think that Raven Software is smart enough to go back and do that. We've never had a Michael Myers game mode in a Call of Duty game until now. It's been 10 years. We've been playing Michael Myers in private match for 10 years, and they finally made a public match game mode. Now that Raven Software gets their chance to shine, they make us a game mode that we've been playing ourselves for 10 years. Like, that's smart of them. They're doing good over there at Raven Software with this game mode. But there are a few different changes from the original Michael Myers game mode that I would like to point out. And there are some things that I'd like them to change if they were to make this a full game mode, or if they were to return it for another Weekend Warfare in the future. So first and foremost, parties. I mentioned this earlier, we had a rough time trying to get into this game mode with a party, and that's because you actually can't play this game mode in a party, which is absolutely ridiculous if you ask me. You actually have to join this one at a time. It's technically a free-for-all game mode. Even though it's team deathmatch at its core, like the core gameplay is team deathmatch, it's a free-for-all in terms of parties. Only parties of one can play this game, which is ridiculous. I get that you don't want to be calling out areas if somebody ends up being the slasher. We were actually doing that in the live stream. We are guilty of that. We did that in the live stream the other day. But it still doesn't really defeat the purpose of this game mode. Like, the game mode itself isn't to survive. It's not a super serious game mode. It's just to have fun and try and run away from the slasher. I don't get why we can't have parties in here. In fact, I think this should be a party-specific game mode. Like, this should be a game mode that you want to play with your friends, get together with your friends, and get in here and play this game mode just like we used to in private matches. So there should be party support in this game mode. Next up, maps. We have this problem with almost every single weekend warfare that comes through. Snipers only had this problem. There was only 8 maps out of 16. This game mode has 13 maps out of 16. It's missing 3 maps, 2 which it should definitely 155% have, and the other one I can kind of understand. So it is missing block and pipeline, 2 of the biggest, grassiest, craziest maps that would be amazing for hiding in. These are like the best maps to play Michael Myers on because there's so much space, there's so many places that you can hide, different buildings and all kinds of stuff. And the third map that it's missing is Shipment. Shipment, which would have been ridiculous, but I can understand why they took it out. Could have been ridiculous, but it would have been ridiculously fun. Could you imagine just like running around in circles around Shipment, the Michael Myers chasing you, and there's like 15 guys all running next to, oh, not 15 guys, it's a 12-person game mode, but 11 people all running around in circles trying to outrun each other while Michael Myers just stabs everybody. That would be so cool. Why do they keep shafting Shipment? They shafted it for Snipers Only, they shafted it for this game mode. There's no option to become the slasher. I think at the beginning of the game, it should be like a countdown, and whoever hits the melee button first or something should get to be the slasher, because I actually prefer to be the slasher in this game mode. I have a lot of fun. Right now, it's a random selection, but I actually really like to be the slasher. I want a competition to be the slasher. I want to be able to hit the melee button faster than someone else and actually become the slasher. Another minor gripe I have about the slasher himself is that he actually moves faster than any other player in the game, which was obviously never the case in the old private match Michael Myers games, because you couldn't influence the speed of any particular player in those games. Instead, when you used to play Michael Myers, everyone ran at the same speed, and that's what made it so intense, because if Michael Myers spotted you and you initiated a chase, it was so stressful. You're running through the map, you're like, oh my god, if I even bump into a door frame, he is going to kill me. Every time I bump into an obstacle, every time I knock myself against something, he gets one step closer and he's going to kill me. And you would use teamwork to get him away from you, and you had to really distract him and deke him out and stuff. Whereas in this game, if you are chased by Michael Myers or the slasher, you're dead. You don't have a chance if you're getting chased by the slasher. Yes, of course, you can turn around and shoot him in this game. If you shoot Michael Myers or the slasher, it will actually put a stun on him, sort of like he can't move as fast. But even then, even when you're stunned, Michael Myers will still catch up, or the slasher will still catch up and kill you with his incredible speed. So I think if they did make this game mode permanent, I think they should bring it back to making him just as fast as anyone else. Another super minor gripe I have about the slasher is the melee weapon itself, the Gravedigger. This is the same melee weapon that you get at the end of gun game. I just think it's so stupid that every single melee weapon, any game mode that requires a melee weapon, it gives you the Gravedigger. Why is it a shovel? Just give us a regular knife, or give us like an axe or something, because it's Michael Myers. Give us a special melee weapon for this game mode, like a really cool axe, or at least alternate the melee weapons, because I'm honestly so sick of seeing this freaking Gravedigger. The last big issue that I have with this game mode is concerning the 1v1 sudden death between the final survivor and the slasher himself. So once you get down to one survivor, that player gets to take out a melee weapon and there is a duel. But I think that there should be a countdown timer before that duel, maybe even reset the characters back to the middle of the map. Because I have been in situations as the slasher where the final 2 players, knowing that one of them will get the melee weapon, will sit next to each other, and then when I come to kill them, I will have to kill one, and the other one will instantaneously grab a melee weapon out of thin air and insta-kill me. whereas I still have to recover from my first melee. I don't get a chance to melee. It doesn't work like that. Like, there's a recovery speed on your melee in this game, and they will be able to pull out their melee weapon and kill me faster when they're sitting next to each other. So there should be like a 15-second grace period so you can run away, get your bearings, maybe get into a good spot. Like I said, maybe just reset both players to the middle of the map so that nobody gets an advantage. And definitely there should be a red dot put on the UAV radar so that you know where your enemy player is. At the very least, do that, because I've seen so many players last two running around in circles around the map trying to find each other, and they just can't do it because the maps are so huge. It's very difficult to find each other when there's only one other player on the map. It's like cage match on Pipeline. Like, it's really difficult to find your enemy player. So there should be a red dot, there should be a countdown timer, and there should be all of the other things that I mentioned in this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next video.